Welcome to the People Sports Podcast live edition, otherwise known as maybe the worst mistake Fox Sports has ever made. My name is Mark Titus, for those who are unaware. Her name is Charlotte Wilder. We are, why are we here, Charlotte? We are here because we are about to embark on an 8-week college football tour all across America.
Yep.
Dos Equis, our good friends at Dos Equis, are going to sponsor the thing, and we are excited for it. But we were doing a little test run. We thought fall is in the air, not necessarily in Los Angeles, but around the country.
Is it?
August is here. College football is starting. So what better place to kick off the tour than the mecca of college football, a parking lot in Venice, California?
Yes.
Right?
I've always said that Venice is the Tuscaloosa of California. So thrilled to be here. Thank you to Clutch for having us. This is a great space.
Yes.
We got a pickup truck that says Clutch on it.
Thank you to the audience, all you guys that came out, both the fans of the show and the haters. I want to thank the haters for coming out as well.
We're nothing without the haters.
The haters keep us going, so we're excited to.
We got motorcycles going
to get
by.
this thing going. We want this to be an interactive thing. So yeah, we appreciate the haters already making your presence felt. We want people. We have a mic, an open mic, to come up and ask questions if we have questions. If you have anything you want to say, we're going to be doing that. If you're watching on the live stream, tweet at us. We're going to have some fun with this thing.
We have a hashtag. It's hashtag PSP Live, which is very exciting, which Mark has no idea about.
Yeah, how does that work?
So I'm telling you. It's an internet thing. But, we figured that we would kick off. It's sort of, August is that weird dead time in sports where it feels like things are happening, but it's mostly just news breaking. And college football has been in the news a lot recently because of the whole conference situation.
Yeah, the conference realignment. How big of a college football expert are you, Charlotte? I guess, like, what am I getting into?
What are you getting into?
As we're about to go on this tour.
It's too late.
Because you went to Colby College. You like we talk about this often. That.
Yes, go Mules!
My God. There we go. What was the college football experience for a liberal elite like yourself?
Oh well, for an East Coast liberal elite like myself, college football wasn't really. Like, I lived, to put in, like, big schools, football's a huge deal. My freshman year, I lived with football players on either side of me in rooms because it was just, like, that casual. And then, Sunday morning I'd go into their room and be like, John, you have to tell Murph that he has to stop ripping the sinks off the bathroom when he's drunk. And he'd be like, oh, sorry, yeah, won't happen again. And then it would happen again. So college football was a very intimate sort of, like, swing by if you feel like it situation.
Was it like this was like high school? It was like glorified high school football, Colby?
But not even, like, I think high school football in the South is far bigger than, the Colby guys, they played very hard. They left it all out there, blue team pride, but it was not what it is in other places.
What division is Colby? Do we know? Do we have the technology to figure that out? It's D3?
Yeah.
Would you rather have me hand you $5 right now or Colby win the D3 national championship in football this upcoming season?
This upcoming season? Can we get it to 10? No, of course. I want the best for my school.
Okay. But you weren't ever really interested?
No, I was into it, but it just wasn't a part of, you didn't live and breathe it. Like, it wasn't synonymous. If you said you went to college somewhere, no one was like, oh, the football team. It was, and so when I got into sports, it was this sort of getting into college football and discovering college football was super exciting because I was like, oh my God, there is a sport out there that is so weird. Nothing makes sense. The traditions are, like, off their rocker, and it was this whole new world that I could explore.
So what have you explored so far? What is the introductory?
I did a big story on college football a few years ago, sort of the last time you could travel anywhere. And I went to Florida, I went to Clemson, I went to Ohio State.
Let's go.
So I've had a taste of it, but nothing near what we're about to embark on, which is all over the country. But I don't know, as someone who grew up in it, who went to school in it, how do you feel about going to different places?
I'm excited because I think we were going. I grew up in Indiana, which is obviously a basketball state, except for Notre Dame, which I grew up. I saw a guy wearing a Notre Dame hat who's in the audience, by the way, and it's got me fired up already, Charlie. Because if you grow up non-Catholic in Indiana, you just hate Notre Dame so much. So I think I just kind of hated college football. I never really had like a team. I watched the sport, but the Hoosiers were horrible. Purdue was like good for a half second, but if no respecting Hoosiers cheering for Purdue and anything. So, I would watch it, but I didn't really get into it. And then I went to Ohio State, and one of the first things that I was told when I got to campus is we hate Michigan. And I was like, this makes no sense to me. Why do we hate Michigan? And I had it full explained to me. I got the crash course of all the reasons we hate Michigan. And the first thing someone said to me as to why we hate Michigan is that there was a literal war fought between Ohio State and Michigan. And I was like, this is insane. This is actually insane. That because the rivalry in Indiana between Indiana and Purdue is just kind of like my mom went to Purdue, my dad went to IU.
Wow.
And it's kind of like a friendly let's go win, and then like whoever loses is like, I don't really care that much, whatever.
Right.
And the people in Ohio are like, we literally went to war with Michigan. We hate Michigan, and that kind of like opened my eyes. And then the first college football game, or the first season I was at Ohio State, we played Michigan in the 1-2 game in 2006, and we won, and I was hooked. And then I've been a Buckeye.
What hooked you?
Diehard ever since.
What did it feel like? This is something I'm so jealous of people who went to actual football schools, of like feeling pride for something like national and huge, and you can watch it on TV and you're like, those are my guys, or like I saw that person in the hallway once. Like,
yeah, I think the appeal of college football more so than NFL is definitely like as I've gotten older and I'm watching, I realize like you have that moment of clarity where you're like, I'm watching 20-year-olds like bash each other in the head to like make me happy.
Yeah.
This will like make my Saturday a little happier if we win.
When you put it that way.
But then you realize that the when I'm watching Ohio State, I'm like, those guys are probably sneaking into the same bars I snuck into. They're skipping the same classes that I skipped. They're like it checks all those boxes of like all these guys pick to be here, which doesn't happen in professional sports. Sometimes you get traded there and all that. So I don't know. There's a community feel to it that I don't think you always get with.
No, and what struck me, I went to when I was in Florida. I was staying at like the Hilton near campus or something, and I walk in, and there were probably like 70 people around the age of like 60, 65, and it was the dentistry alumni convention or something. They like picked a weekend once a year where like all the dentists came back.
Yeah.
Which they all had great teeth, and it was very fun to make them laugh because I was like, beautiful teeth. But they were like, we didn't go undergrad, but like we were here. We walked these grounds, and they all were telling me about like all of the chomping things you do. I don't really remember, to be honest.
All the rituals.
The rituals, and they're like, okay, so tomorrow when the guy runs out onto the field, he's going to do this big thing with his arm. And I was like, you kind of lost me. But then you see it, and you see everyone do it, and you're like, oh, okay, it makes sense somehow, even though it doesn't. It just like, it clicks when you're in it.
Yeah. I think that is a great way to. I think like if aliens came and watched it, like honestly, if there have been UFOs that have visited Earth, the reason we probably haven't met them yet is because they probably like watched a college football game and were like, those people are out of their minds, and they like turn around and went back to wherever they came from, because that's like the most bizarre. Like you're right. When you're in it, you're like, this makes total sense. When you're not in it, you're like, this is a cult. There's no other way to describe what's happening.
You know what I often think about with aliens? If aliens came down to Earth, if they saw our gyms, they would think that it was like a really messed up torture chamber for society. Like anytime I walk into a gym,
we're working out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I see the, it really looks. If you look next time you go to a gym, look at it from the perspective of an alien, and you'll be like, I'm never going back there again.
You know what blew my mind recently was with Bezos and who's the other guy?
Are we gonna do the podcast on Bezos again?
The Virgin, not the Virgin guy, the guy. Richard Branson. He went to space too. The Virgin. And Musk is trying, like all the billionaires going to space. Someone blew my mind and said the aliens that visit us are just going to be the billionaires. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like Jeff Bezos from Mars, like those are gonna be the people that visit us. And I was like, oh, that's not as fun.
Right, and everyone on their planet will be like, oh, why do you have to go to space?
Like in your mind, you're like, the aliens that come are gonna have like a 6-pack of beer and like pop off the thing and be like, you want to watch the game? And
Is
you're like,
that what you think
that's
of
what
the
I
aliens?
think. I think we're all gonna get along.
You think that the aliens are gonna show up with beers and be like,
someone make that movie. I think there's too much like anti-alien propaganda from Hollywood. I think there's too much like doomsday scenarios. We need an alien that's just like, I'm a little different, but we can be friends.
I
right?
mean, I like that. I just think that we are not going to be able to recognize that they're aliens. I think aliens have been too humanized. It's like it's so self-centered for us to think that the aliens are going to, like walk around.
It is interesting that all alien depictions seem to walk on two legs and
Right.
all that. Like,
What if they slither,
that's a great
Anyway,
point.
this is the college football podcast that
Great
you came
point for
for.
college football.
Thank you for
You want me to
joining
shut
us.
Oh man. What college football?
Yeah,
Your thoughts?
college football. Well, we were going to do it because it's been in the news. Because of the
the
conference
conference realignment. That's
so,
right.
like,
That's what I was trying to think about.
We're approaching this season and this tour.
What are your thoughts on that? Texas going to the SEC, Oklahoma going to the SEC. Does that register with you as?
Did someone just did we get a
someone
boo?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
good.
great.
Because like people that live and breathe college sports, that is, they boo. They're
Right.
like, what the hell is going on here? What about the Colby College alums?
I'm going to be honest, which is always a risk on the internet, but I feel like I know college football. We're clearly approaching this tour with two different perspectives, where I know on paper and I understand it and I can watch the games and I've reported on it. But because I didn't live and breathe it, there are some things that I just don't like. I don't get the inside jokes sometimes, or I don't understand. Like, it's not so much jokes. I don't get why everyone's mad all the time. Most of the time.
Well, they're mad because college football is politics.
Right.
Like it's not. I don't say that as a joke whatsoever.
it
it's
literally is.
like politics are so ingrained in the sport that like Texas is leaving the Big 12 and the state legislature is meeting about it to discuss
what
what decal is going to be on the Texas uniforms on Saturdays. Like, are we going to put the SEC? Are we really going to do this?
Right.
But that's what makes it awesome is the political part of it all is all well Texas was supposed to, like in 1990 I think Texas was supposed to join the SEC.
Yeah.
Not supposed to, but it made a lot of sense, and the reason they didn't is because all the other schools in Texas were like, if you leave, you screw over our conference. We're not going to allow that
And
to
so
happen.
they did something for the common good?
Yes.
No, those days are gone.
And now, but
it's
like
2021,
the point,
baby. Buckle up. Yeah, every man for himself. I just think, like when you don't know.
That's Moses barking, by the way. That's my dog, my golden
Moses
retriever.
is here.
So if you can hear it at home, certainly everybody here can hear it. Hear a clutch, everybody can hear it. But yeah. shout out
Moses is really upset about Texas and
Texas,
Oklahoma going to the SEC.
Yeah.
But so when I initially heard this, to answer your question, as someone sort of less in the know about the emotions behind everything, I didn't understand why everyone either thought it was so funny or was so mad about it or was gloating.
Well, the funny.
That's sort of the categories
Yeah.
it seemed to fall into.
I think the funny part is that Texas can't even win in the Big 12, so now they're going to a conference that's more difficult.
Right.
That's the funny. Also, Oklahoma, who can win in the Big 12, can't win against anybody that's not in the Big 12.
Right.
So like that whole part of it's funny, but then it's the tradition, Charlotte. It's the idea that we almost because the way things are going, college sports, you're going to look up. There's going to be like 3 conferences, and now. It removes all the arguing. That's what we love about college football is like being able to, as an Ohio State fan, I can yell that we are definitely better than Clemson.
Right.
And we don't necessarily have to prove that. And more often than not, we end up playing Clemson. We won last time we played, by the way, FYI, for those who don't remember. But that's what college sports is about. It's like if I'm an Oregon fan, I'm like, you have to put us in the playoff because we will definitely beat Bama. And that
Right.
is not true at all. But until it happens, no one
Right.
knows that. So you can yell about it. So now when you put Texas in, when all these schools are actually playing each other, that kind of removes the fun of the sport, which is having 30 conference champions
Right.
and then having to suss out who the best. The sport, Charlotte, is literally right now, the way it's structured,
Mm-hmm.
there are 5 power conferences. There are 4 spots in the playoff.
Yes.
So there's a situation where every single year, 5 teams can go undefeated, plus Notre Dame.
Right.
There could be 6 undefeated power teams and only 4 spots. And we just accept that. We're just like, yeah, we don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll
Well,
argue over whoever argues best.
It's kind of beautiful because I feel like people think that this age of discord or of everybody yelling at each other all the time is an internet phenomenon or is sort of the breaking down
It's
of
not,
civil
no.
society. It's not. It's been college football the whole time.
Yes.
And it's just no one put it on the internet yet.
That is the funny part to me, I guess, about Texas. Texas is the bigger note leaving the Big 12 than Oklahoma to me because they're the
Why?
bigger because they're just the bigger program. They're
Right.
the bigger. Oklahoma's better at football, but Texas is better at like making you think they're better. if that makes any sense.
Texas is a school that always has all of the resources, like everything at their disposal.
Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
If you can't win with Matthew McConaughey in your home state, then like I'm sorry.
So Texas leaving, it has put people in a tizzy because, the tradition is that Texas, like when Texas A&M left to go to the SEC, that was a big deal because like all these Texas schools play each other, and
and it messes with
tradition.
the rivalries.
It messes with the rivalries, Charlotte. But I would argue the greatest tradition that college football has ever had is just following the bag. Just like wherever's the most money.
Where's the money?
So in a roundabout way, Texas leaving to go to the SEC is actually
the biggest,
strongest tradition possible.
Of all. Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think what would have been interesting, though, is if the conference had started getting smaller. So you end up having conferences with like only 3 teams in it. And then you can just argue, like everybody can be like, well, you know, we would have beaten you. And you never know. You will literally never know.
You want to go back to like 1920.
Yes.
Like, you couldn't play anybody on the other side of the river because we haven't built a bridge yet.
Because you can't get to the right, exactly. I want to
like
tear down the
Illinois and
bridges.
Missouri are just yelling over the Mississippi River, like we're better than you.
Right.
We would come prove
They're
it.
putting
but
like trash talk in bottles and just tossing them in. And but what's interesting though is that this is all like very political, as you said. In one legislature, actually, there's also something I have to bring up, that regents is a thing in college. The board of here's a quote: the Board of Regents in Texas and Oklahoma unanimously voted to formally accept invitations to join the SEC. And I'm like, what is a regent?
Yeah.
Because it
How do you get
sounds
on
like
that?
just sort of a hooded, like a member of the Illuminati, you know, in the black robes, like carrying candles. But apparently they're just the people who arbitrarily decide everything.
Can you imagine if that was the press release? Like members of the Illuminati met and have decided that Texas has been...
It would get even more media coverage.
Yeah. That's the fun part about if you're a big enough fan of college sports, you have to get a law degree basically to understand like what all this stuff is.
Well, I think that's why I sort of felt confused for so long, because I thought it had to be more. I thought I was stupid if I couldn't understand it, and then you just read it in English and you're like, oh, sorry, it's not actually as complicated.
I love that we're doing this in Los Angeles, by the way.
Isn't it
like,
good?
this crowd is like 100%. These people are like, what are like? I just see everyone googling like, what are college sports?
Regents,
college
and I'm like,
football?
I already googled.
Texas, is that a school? So yeah, I think that's it. I think that's the and Texas leaving to join the SEC. It's not just that isolated move either, Charlotte. That I think has certainly guys like me fired up, both good and bad. Like part of me is like
how do you
a little
feel?
upset about
You're
the
an Ohio
shakeup.
State guy. Why do you care? What do you feel about it?
I care. Well, I guess that's it. Like I don't care what Texas
Ohio
does.
State.
I don't care what Texas does. What I care is the dominoes that are going to fall, which is
It's
basically
always the dominoes.
Basically, Notre Dame's going to probably end up in the Big Ten somehow, and I kind of want it to happen, but I don't want.
No, because I don't think who's the Notre Dame person here? Okay, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Notre Dame fans will die on the hill of it's better to not be in a conference.
But they're going to have to be in a conference.
Is that right?
Yes, but if we choose a conference, the Big Ten's better than the ACC.
Yes.
Oh,
they're going to have to be in a
okay.
conference.
If you didn't hear that, if we choose a conference, Big Ten's better than the ACC.
Yeah. So
So you don't want that competition.
Listen, Notre Dame, come on.
I'm just saying.
Notre Dame, please. It's the dominoes. I really believe that like the NCAA is about to just disband. Like there's not going to be an NCAA
There won't be
anymore.
one.
There will not be an NCAA.
What will
Like,
there be? The SEC?
The SEC, yeah. The SEC, like Greg Sankey's like, I run this entire. Maybe our Bama fan over there is like, I don't see the problem. This is great. We're gonna have like a 12-team playoff, and the SEC gets 10 teams in.
I know, it's
everyone's like,
wild
I don't
that-
understand why you guys are mad. Why are you booing? What's the problem?
One of the guys who's going to be on the road with us, Mace over here, is a Bama fan, so we're going to have to deal with that all season.
Yeah. I'm worried about the dominoes of that, of just that there's going to be like 4 conferences and that's pretty much it. But at the same time, I invite chaos into my life in certain ways. And I like the way college football is structured right now is like 5 teams have a chance.
Yes.
And my school is one of the 5, so I kind of don't care. Like, you could shake it up all you want. Like, we're still going to be okay. If I wake up
You're
in
the
Ohio
1%.
State, yes. If I wake up and Ohio State's in trouble, I will rethink everything I've just said. Yeah.
Well, it's funny because all of this comes down to, like, this is basically just business transactions. It's about TV rights in a lot of ways and so now, you know, the Big 12 is scrambling. there was this leaked thing that the Big 12 commissioner met with the Pac-12 commissioner to talk about joining up, but the Pac-12 commissioner then tweeted, like, it's always great to listen, as in, like, there's no way this is happening. And the source who leaked it was a Big 12 reporter, so it's the Big 12 being like, no, we're still relevant, we swear. But my question is, how do you stop schools from leaving, or how do you, like, is it just inevitable that it's all going to fall apart?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you stop schools from, because like I said, they're just going to chase the bag. Like, you're going to look up, like, the SEC is not done. They're going to, I seriously
Who are they
think
taking next?
The SEC is going to have 46 teams in like 10 years. I really think that they're going to take everybody.
Yeah.
They're going to try to take Ohio. Well, probably
How would you
not
feel
Ohio
about that if Ohio State?
Not great.
Why? Because you would
because
play.
Ohio, because like college football is Ohio versus the South right now, and I like that division. I like the idea of
You just
of
like
that.
being on the side.
Yeah,
It's
I like, and then like suddenly you put it all together. It's not. It just doesn't work as well.
When you were in college, this is something that confuses me as someone who went to Colby College. But did you like feel pride for the conference that your school was in? Is
Great
that
question.
a thing? Do people
Great question,
care?
'cause
Like,
I've
do
thought about
students
this.
care? Anyone out here who went? Yes. Okay,
Yeah.
Sean. Someone's gonna have to get this microphone to people because I want takes about how you feel about your conference.
Yeah. I think it's it's the conference represent, and this is the other problem, is if you start expanding conferences and you have a situation where like West Virginia is in the Big 12 now and they're representing a conference that's like Texas based, and you're like, that doesn't make any sense, but whatever, we'll roll with it. And you got Creighton basketball. You have a school, Creighton, in Nebraska that plays in a conference called the Big East.
Yep.
Makes zero sense, Charlotte. So the location aspect of it all, the way it factors in, I think, the reason the SEC is so strong is because it's all like in the Southeast. That's like the thing. And I think ultimately the reason people cheer for conferences is because you cheer for like your hometown first. When that doesn't work out, you're like, well, at least like when you're watching the Olympics and you see someone from your hometown, you get excited.
Yeah.
You Google and you find out nobody from your hometown. You're like, well, that one girl's from like 3 towns over. I'll cheer for her.
Okay.
If that's not it there, you're like, well, that one guy is from my home state at least. So you see what I'm like? It just keeps growing
This is
out.
a wild view into your brain.
Yeah. So
Of how Mark
when,
watches him, like he Googles the Olympians to see where their hometowns are.
So if you go to say Illinois, and Illinois obviously is not going to be in the college football playoff. Whatever small party that wants to cheer for Ohio State in the playoff is like, if we can't be there, at least I want like a Midwest down home value team, like a school that does it the right way, Charlotte. A school that does it the right way. We want the school that does it the right way.
But that's crazy to me because you hate each other. Like Michigan, you wouldn't ever want Michigan.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like
I would never
what?
want Michigan.
You know, where
Yeah.
do the line? Is it that a rivalry has to be a certain level of awful for you to?
I think that's why the SEC is so much better than everybody, because they've circled the wagons and they figured out a way to like
so maybe
chant SEC games
Hear
or
me out.
SEC chants. Yeah.
What the Big 12 and the Big 10 and these other conferences need is a killer PR team. They
Yeah.
need to rebrand. They need to start making grabs for people in California. They need to reach out to Massachusetts. They need to give vouchers like, here's $20. Go to your local bar. Beers
Yeah.
on us. Cheer
Beers
for
on-
a Big 10 team.
Beers on us.
Seriously,
First
like
one's on us.
you got to bribe people at this point.
Yeah.
That's
not a
my.
bad
I mean,
idea.
I'm available if schools would like to pay me to consult.
That's not a bad idea at all.
Right?
I think you're right, because the other part about college football that I find hysterical is the politics, obviously. But college football is also, to me, the one sport where the stereotypes of the schools, the conferences, everything else, you get them in your head, and somehow they're always right. Like it's always correct.
Like year after year after year.
Yeah. Like you're like Oklahoma will make the playoff this year, and every college football fan will say Oklahoma's going to lose in the first round. We've seen this story before.
Yep.
They're 0-4 in the college football playoff. They're going to lose.
Yep.
And Oklahoma's going to lose. And then it's crazy. No one on that team
Right.
was on like the first team that lost. It's a completely different group of people, and yet they still lose. And like these tropes continue to be true over and over and over again. And you're like, how is this possible that like they'll show a college football stat where they're like, you know, like Maryland has never beat UCLA, like and then it pulls it up. They're like 0-4 or something, and then
Right.
it pulls it up, and like the 4 games are played in the 20s. And you're like, that? Who cares about
like,
this
that's
game right
so
now?
true.
And then it bears itself out, and you're like, there's something to this. It's the only sport where like
So,
those stats are relevant.
I think that's because I think like with professional teams, you're obviously getting players from all different schools, from all over the like you can turn over the culture of a professional team pretty quickly. I feel like if you
Yeah.
get the right coach in, the culture of a school is so much more like of a team is a culture of a school, and it is very hard to
Yeah.
change the culture of a school, and so you sort of get stuck
That's
in
true.
these hamster wheels
That's
of
a good
like,
point.
didn't we like
The
Texas
players cycle
can't
out,
win,
but the
like-
boosters don't. It's
Right.
the same group of old
Buddy
dudes.
Garrity
Yeah,
is
Bud
there
Garrity
all the
that's
time.
donating money and making demands.
But
And,
that's
yeah.
something that we wanted to do. We wanted to get into the stereotypes of
Yeah.
each conference. And if there's anyone here who feels particularly strongly about one conference or another, raise your hand, and we want to hear from you. But which do you want to just start with?
The best.
Yes, sure.
You wanna
Yes.
start with the Big Ten?
Yes,
The best one.
the best one.
Yeah, this will suit you well as we travel, I guess, as we got to figure out like what.
Yeah, I gotta learn
what-
this.
So yeah, the Big Ten is, I would say, corn-fed. The Big Ten football player pregame meal is like a steak with no seasoning, some mashed potatoes, corn
Seasoning
on
on the
cob,
mashed potato?
probably not, a slice of white bread, and
Anything
a
on the
big
white bread?
tall glass of milk, and like
Yeah.
that's and she's corn, and then there's butter all over it. Corn-fed guys. We're trying to win games 10-6.
Yeah.
Like that's the goal. We do things the right way. Whether that's true or not, you just say it out loud a bunch.
All right, and then clearly you start to believe it.
It's politics,
Like-
baby. It's like you just put the propaganda out there. You're just like, we do it the right way, not like
It's like
those.
Pravda
Yeah,
for
yeah.
Ohio State over here.
Yeah. So that's pretty much line play is very important in Big Ten football.
Cold weather.
Yeah, because the weather's gonna
Because you're
get
not
cold.
soft.
Yeah,
Like
There's gonna be-
California.
There's gonna be a game where
Sorry.
great. You should just be a heel on this.
I think I
on this
am.
tour.
I think I'm falling into
That
that
would be
role.
great.
It's very exciting.
You just come out.
I'm a troll online and I'm a troll
What
in
sports
real
teams you
life.
guys like? They suck. And then that's just a big.
Who here plays tennis?
Yeah, so that's the Big Ten. That's
Okay.
that's the Big Ten is like if a Big Ten team is playing like an SEC team, you could like I honestly think by the end of this tour you'll have figured out how to be a college football pundit. Like because if a Big Ten team, SEC team in a bowl game, all you got to talk about is the SEC team's speed is going to be a problem for the Big Ten.
Right.
And that's pretty much it. That's
Well,
pretty much
it's-
all you have to say. It's
it's-
just like that's going to be a problem.
Yeah, it's going to be a problem. It's funny that, when you start sort of breaking it all down, there are very simple reasons for these things, which is that, like, it's warm where the SEC
Yeah.
teams play. So you can throw the ball
So
because
yeah.
it's not snowing.
And they're fast.
And they're
yeah,
fast.
because it's not snowing, so they have like enough room to like actually run.
So you can, like, throw the
And-
ball
yeah,
through
yeah.
because it's not, your hands aren't cramping
Does Notre
up.
Dame our Notre Dame guy left? He's like enough's enough.
He's
I'm out of
like-
here. Notre Dame they're not Big Ten, but this is why Notre Dame, if they join a conference, will be Big Ten. I'm pretty sure they still do this. When USC would play at Notre Dame, they would just grow the grass like 3 inches taller than it usually is
That's
to
amazing.
slow down everybody.
I love that.
And that's like the most Big Ten thing I've
Do
ever
they
heard.
still do it?
Probably. It's Notre Dame.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
It's not as much fun to roast Notre Dame when the Notre Dame guy left.
He's not here. So that's the Big Ten. That's what we'll find as we visit Big Ten country.
You know what I think is sneaky going to be
What?
my favorite conference is the Pac-12. Just
Pac-12
because
fans.
like Pac-12 at night, like the chaos of
Yeah.
this conference. Like when I think of Pac-12, I think of Guy Fieri. I think of like a Suns fan
This
from
is-
2021 in the finals. I think of
Yeah.
not finals. Did they? Oh my God, my brain.
The Suns
who
in the
played
NBA finals?
Yeah, they did. Okay, right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was
yeah.
like, oh, how many, Lynch? 14. Okay, they had A for effort. Yeah. But, I like that there is this sort of the chaos of it can be the closest and highest scoring game at any given time.
Yeah.
And it's just like wacky
Right.
stuff's going on.
And to that point, I think the problem with Pac-12 football is that at no point did you say good football. I think that's the problem. So like their branding, you're talking about they need like a brand overhaul.
Yeah.
That makes for fun viewing. It doesn't make for like a championship caliber football team that
Mark,
like.
Here's the thing.
You know what I
We're
mean?
gonna have let's before we get on this tour, we're gonna have to figure something out right now, which is what do we each mean when we say good football?
Okay.
Like what to you?
That's a good point. Yeah,
like
'cause,
what?
like-
Because I mean, you know, you could be a dad who's like, if they score more than 7 points, your team has failed, or
Yeah.
you could be me, an agent of chaos, who wants
Right,
70.
and I guess the Pac-12 suits you well then. That should be
I
your
just want the
favorite conference.
funniest
Yeah.
product.
That's the Pac-12. That's
So-
definitely the Pac-12. The Pac-12 commissioner forever, this guy named Larry Scott, who is no longer the commissioner, thank God. He was an Olympic sports guy. So like I guess maybe he's having the last laugh because I think like the Pac-12 athletes are killing in the Olympics right now.
Yeah, I mean,
But he like he takes over as commissioner and he's like, all these other conferences are doing it the wrong way. They are trying to prioritize sports that make money. What I'm going to do is prioritize winning championships and everything else.
oh.
So then that kind of became the Pac-12 thing, and they win at everything else. But that's why they suck at football. So
And
it's
football
kinda,
is the only thing that
that ultimately matters.
ultimately matters.
Yeah,
Because
so
this is a
it's
college
like-
football tournament. We got a question from the crowd. Our own Benny V, Ben Verlander. Can we
Hey,
get a round of applause for Ben
Wow.
for having the guts to ask a question?
Yeah, this one is actually directed at Mark, and I know you said college football becomes like a culture, and you kind of know who's going to win the game. And
Yeah.
and last time I remember Alabama and Ohio State playing,
Nope.
Alabama won by 30.
Nope.
I believe. So can you talk a little bit about that? Thank you very much.
Ohio State beat Alabama in 2015, then we beat Oregon in the national title game. I think you're misremembering. We beat Clemson this year, Ben, and then our team tested positive for COVID, and they canceled the game, the title game. It was one of the saddest things. No, that's stupid, dude.
I
It
want to give
was-
some context to this interaction, which is that Mark has taken claimed ownership over Ben's love of Shohei Ohtani. He claims that he started
I
it,
invented Shohei
and
Ohtani.
Ben claims that he didn't. Ben, welcome back.
I had to come back.
Yeah.
What's the question?
Oh.
I just heard Shohei Ohtani
There
and
is
walked
no
back
question.
over here. I don't.
Okay, if Shohei Ohtani were a conference, which conference would he be?
Not the Big Ten, because Ohio State's in it. So I got to go SEC here.
SEC?
SEC.
He is the cream
Because he
of the
just
crop.
means more.
He just means more. Like you just know he's gonna end up at the top at the
Mm.
end.
I'm curious, though, like if people that out there that do watch college football, because a lot of people hate Ohio State, obviously, but we hate Bama too, right?
Yeah.
Well, who do you hate more? Like, because Clemson, we
So-
hate Clemson, right?
Yeah, but
we-
here's my problem, Mark, is that I'm a Patriots fan.
Okay.
So I have no
So some
leg
part
to
of you
stand
likes
on.
Alabama. You're
Yeah,
like,
I
yeah.
watch Alabama and I'm
Yeah.
like, good for them.
I get it.
And I watch people hating on Bama and I'm like, oh, they're just sad that they don't win. You know?
okay.
So
Charlotte?
Okay.
yes.
I have a question. Sorry,
All
that
right.
came across really loud. When I think football, I also and Shohei Ohtani, they go hand in hand.
Yes.
I think two-way player. So if you were to think of a two-way conference, multiple sports, who is the best conference at being a two-way player?
Well, I mean, the ACC is the best at being a one-way player, not in football.
Yes.
So if
That doesn't count. Yeah.
that doesn't count.
Yeah.
Do I have to say it's the Big Ten?
But that's like
That feels like I
no,
just
in all
was
seriousness,
forced
You got
into
bullied
it.
into
I
that.
was, yeah.
in all
I didn't-
seriousness, the Big Ten, there's another Big Ten stereotype is that like we're never the best at anything. We're like second or third best at a lot of things,
Mm.
and then we try to take all of that and say that's what makes us the best. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And you're like, well, what are you the best at?
being close to
Being close.
being good.
Yes.
We're the best at being good.
We are the country in the Olympics that like gets 0 gold medals.
Yeah.
But we're still like second in medal count somehow. And we're like, see, we're right up there.
Mark's been watching a lot
Yeah,
of
I've been
Olympics.
watching a lot of. That's like
Mark
the
is
only,
really into the
the only
Olympics.
frame of reference I have right now.
Should we talk about volleyball?
We could. I could do, yeah, USA. team
No,
playing
okay.
for
We've
gold.
got a few more conferences that we need to. Okay, so we did Big Ten. We did
Yeah,
Pac-12.
Pac-12 is to put a bow on Pac-12. That is
Yeah.
definitely the most fun conference to watch if you don't care about anything. But
I'm
the
an
problem
nihilist.
is like if I went to a Pac-12 school, I would care, and that
Mm.
would not be fun at all. I'd have a heart attack.
I think I just stopped caring, maybe somewhere along the way, and I went more for like give me the
Chaos?
content and chaos. Maybe this job has ruined me.
Yeah. Are you gonna be able to like?
That's a dark. That's a
This job is really
holy. Wow. We have a question. Kat Don, what is up?
Hi, I'm Kat. I'm
Hi.
a fan of the show.
Yes.
One of my favorite things that you guys have done on the show is you explaining icing. For people that don't know, you should go watch it. It's hilarious. Are you planning on explaining any college football tradition?
Oh, that's a great.
for
that's a
the
great
for the
question.
schools that you go to in
Wow.
the fall.
That's a great tradition.
Now I am.
Throw out a college football tradition. That
Yeah,
Charlotte should try
name
to
one and I'll
explain
try to
right
explain it right now.
Maybe Alabama singing. What's the song? Dixieland Delight. Thank you, Mace.
now. Oh,
Okay,
Why
oh
did they
boy.
do that? You can just
Oh, boy.
explain it.
It feels like it's rooted in some
Yeah.
questionable
Fifth grade history class.
politics
So,
there that
Once upon a time,
So
mommy
the
and
thing
daddy
about-
did not get along, and
the thing about this country is yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna do that. Like there's a rock at Clemson.
yeah, there's a rock at Clemson.
That's a thing.
That's the thing.
Explain the rock. So this rock
What do you think? Yeah,
was
what do you
once
think
an
the rock
alien
is? Oh.
who came down and saw college football and was so shocked that it just turned into a rock, and now everybody rubs it to make sure it's doing okay.
I'm trying to think of what the dumbest.
What's an Ohio State? What's a dumb Ohio State?
we spell Ohio like in any like a million different ways. We spell it Ohio. See, like we do. We have that.
Yeah.
There's Script Ohio in case you want to see it like written out.
Oh, the marching band.
will
The
march
marching
Ohio.
band blew my. I hope you're
Yeah.
ready for every marching band we see. I'm gonna, you know, the Kristen Wiig skit where she's like, "I'm just so excited." And, like that's gonna be me anytime a marching band.
Marching bands, if you really stop and think about it and have enough mind-altering substances, they're kind of crazy. Like what?
They're insane. I have.
And, like, how do you pick which instruments are in the march? You never seen electric guitar like walking through the, you know? Imagine
We
Script
need to
Ohio, the
bring-
guy like dotting the eyes, like doing a solo.
He's just shredding.
Yeah.
I have spent so much time on the internet researching band software because do you know how they use software? What is
Oh,
it,
like
1995.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like software. They
The
use
CD-ROM.
They use a program, a computer program, to tell everybody where to
Where to go,
stand
yeah.
because you see that. Like when I went to the Ohio State game, I watched the band cut a Michigan flag in half with scissors, but the scissors were people.
Right, and isn't that insane to say it out loud? You're like, what?
Wild.
And then like everyone in the crowd's like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
This is really.
No, well, I was
This
in the
is
press
great.
box, which
Yeah,
was a
yeah.
problem because I was like, "Holy shit! Do you see what they're?" And everyone's like, "Charlotte," they're like, "You've been doing this for too long to know that you can't." It's like the time, anyway. We don't have-
I thought of a not problematic one.
yes.
Can you explain why at Auburn they TP the tree?
Oh, that's
Yeah.
a great question.
So, the tree,
Their own trees.
their own trees.
Yeah. It's friendly fire.
The
Now
reason they
you're
do
throwing
this-
it into your own tree.
Yeah,
You're
well,
teaching
listen,
yourself.
this is, it's very well known on this podcast that if you make fun of yourself for something first, no one else can make fun of
Great
you for
point.
it, and you're untouchable. So Auburn is like, yo, we're going to TP our own trees because we are that invincible. Come at, like, try to egg
Then-
our houses now. They're like,
Yeah.
and then they see someone come to egg a house, and they're like, got there first, and then they egg their houses. Like, it's just galaxy brain stuff.
Okay.
That's why they
that's
do
how
it.
it came about. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Right? That's how,
Alright,
that's how it works.
Someone's tracking. Oh man,
yeah.
I'm gonna be thinking about marching bands the rest of the night. Just I don't know.
Was anyone
That's
here
what I'm
in a marching band in college?
Uh-oh.
Oh.
What'd you play? The saxophone
One day.
for one day.
What happened? Okay. Stanford
How
band.
did you pick the saxophone? You just thought that. Oh really?
No way! Were you a musician? Wait.
Oh my
Hold
God.
on.
Hold on.
So
Hold on. Can
I'm
we get to
sorry.
a microphone?
This is blowing. Sorry. So you can be in the band as like a fake band player.
Yes.
You're just a good marcher?
Yeah, so
What?
they have practice the day before and the morning of the game, and you go and you learn the formations, and like if you join, you can have your own instrument. They can give you an instrument. But I mean, the Stanford brand's
So my
pretty crazy.
whole life has been a lie.
No, it's not all schools. Not all schools.
Not all.
Stanford's just special.
Stanford. Oh, Stanford.
You don't
Fun
have
fact.
They're
to-
so smart. They're
Oh
like,
my
we're not
God.
even going to play the instruments.
They're just piping it through the speakers.
Yeah.
And the band like all stops and they're all like scratching their head and they're still playing.
It's like the really bad lip synced concert. Carrie.
Hi, how's it going?
Hi, good. How are
Okay,
you?
so we've been talking a lot about aliens. So I
Yeah.
gotta ask you guys.
Yeah.
If aliens come to Earth
Uh-huh.
and we need one college football coach representative to basically decide whether we live or we die,
Yeah.
who are you picking?
Wait. What? Oh, God. So they decide based on this college
Based
football guy
on their impression of this college football coach.
if we deserve
If
to
we
live
deserve
as a
to live or
species.
die.
Oh, there's no one. You can't put any. There's no coach you could put up there.
Ed Ogeron. He's the most
Yes.
alien-like, right?
Yes.
He's very alien. Like I feel like he's fluent in whatever language they're speaking. Like that's what.
I think I'm done. He's like, Lord Peter.
Yeah.
Mike
Mike
Leach?
Leach would be a great one.
Dude, I watched a Mike Leach press conference last night at like midnight, which will tell you everything you need to know about where my
Here's the
head's at
power
right
of college football. If Mike Leach was like not a head football coach, he'd just be an insane person. You know what I mean? But like since he coaches football, you're like, I like the guy. I dig his vibe. He's kind of fun. If he was like your local cashier at Trader Joe's, and he was just like, here's a
Oh
meme
no,
I-
that is the one job I could see him. I could
And
see.
he's like, "Here's a meme I
Mike
saw
Leach
today."
in a
He'd be
Trader
like-
Joe's Hawaiian shirt, like checks out. That makes sense. This press conference I watched was a reporter asked him a question, and he asked the reporter about his kid, and he's like, well, how old is she now? And he's like, she's 3 months, and he goes, you should really get her to sleep through the night. And the reporter's like, yeah, no, thank you, that's a great call. And he was like, no, seriously, if she starts crying and your wife gets up and wants to go help her, don't let your wife get up. And the guy's like, he's like, make her sing for her supper, and then she'll sleep through the night, and you have me to thank. And I was like, what the? I was like, did Mike Leach just invent sleep training? Because that's wild. But like, it's college football. Like that's normal.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Under any other context, Mike Leach is just an insane person that. I followed him on Twitter for a little while. And
I had to
like
stop.
literally all he would do is just post memes.
Yeah.
But like not even like the half baked ones that are JPEG to high hell.
MS Paint.
I was like, this is funny, but also like, if this was my dad, like I'd sit him down and talk to him. I'd be like, Dad, what are we doing out here? Like,
Didn't he
what's going
tweet
on?
out like a naked portrait of him on like a rug or something?
Crazy.
If I'm making that up?
I think
that's
Mike Leach is a
weird.
good call. Yeah, I don't know who like Saban would be like. We're trying to get them to like us, right? 'Cause
Yeah, so
Saban,
maybe we should have. It's too bad that Cliff Kingsbury's in the NFL now, because we could have just put like a handsome guy
Just-
up there,
yeah,
and the aliens would be
yeah.
like, oh, if they're all like that,
Yeah.
then
What's up? What do we got?
Yeah, just going back to the tradition talk. Would you consider Alabama winning the national championship every year? Would that be a tradition? And roll tide, roll tide, roll
Oh
tide.
my God.
Boo that man, please, for the love of God.
Mace, yes, I would, much like the New England Patriots from
Do you-
2000.
Mate, in all seriousness, like,
Mace is a
do you guys
Falcons fan, too.
do Bama fans even watch before like the playoff starts?
Do you watch
Yeah.
every game?
Like,
Yeah,
how
that's the-
how do
that's
you
the
care?
fun part of the
Why do you
season.
care?
It's just fun. You know, it's just winning.
Is it
Just
low
winning.
stress because you're not worried?
Because
Yeah, low stress.
I swear to God, every Bama game I watch, like you score a touchdown, the fans are like, God.
Yeah, most of them
Cool,
are
we
just,
did it,
you know,
yeah.
Saban gets mad when they're out of halftime. And
Yeah.
Yeah, it just gets boring after a while. Just, yeah, it's how it
yeah,
is.
I'd say it's a tradition.
Yeah. Are we worried about Saban leaving? Or is he?
No,
He's an alien.
he's locked.
Maybe
He's
we
locked.
should have Saban.
I think
like,
he's the
Saban,
alien.
He might be the alien
He's
himself,
the
right?
master right there, yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and they'd meet him and they'd be like, oh,
Yeah,
one
you're
of
one-
us.
yeah.
This guy's just not
They don't
human.
even talk. They
Not
just
human.
like just
They
put their
just-
foreheads together and like exchange data, and then
And all
Yeah.
of a sudden, they're running an insane offense.
that would
on-
always tear. I mean, I know Bama's had a great program, and like Alabama football existed before Nick Saban, but anytime one guy gets that good at one place, I guess I'm just trying to be an agent of chaos. I'm just trying to stir it up. I'm like, now what
Well,
happens when he leaves?
No. What
It
you're
could all go
doing
to
is
hell.
that we decided that this was the year that everyone was just going to retire, starting with Aaron
Yes.
Rodgers, which
Yes.
he hasn't started a game yet. So you can't say he hasn't retired.
Right.
But that means we were like, we think that the pandemic just made everyone realize that maybe there's more to life than, you know, whatever you were doing before. And so we're going to see this just like,
Speaking into existence, Charlotte, if Alabama loses like 2 games this year, Saban's just going to walk away.
Saban's done.
Yeah. Their second game, they
No,
lose.
he's not. He's only going to leave after he's won like 50 more.
How do you, if you're Nick Saban, how do you know enough's enough?
Oh, boy.
Put yourself in his shoes. At what point are you like,
Miss
What-
Tammy's like, it's time to stop.
that's
his
it?
wife. I know that.
I don't
Please
know.
clap.
Please clap. Oh my God. It's a shot of saving.
I went on the podcast on a rabbit hole of the wedding hashtag of Nick Saban's daughter's wedding. And they drove off the field just surrounded by pyrotechnics in this white car. And it was, I think what I'm most excited for this year is to find a new coach's daughter's weddings hashtag and really lean into that one. Anyway, Sean.
Hi, first-time caller, long-time listener. I went to the highly overrated Syracuse University, and they do this awful tradition. I know other schools do it too. We're on 3rd down. You're supposed to jiggle your keys
Oh, no.
really loud, and the quarterback's going to get sacked because you're jiggling your keys. Buy or sell, jiggling the keys.
Buy
help
or
it.
sell.
Sell. Do they do they do that in Ohio?
I don't know. I don't remember, but I think the idea is you just make noise. I'm sure
Is
some
that like
people
warm
do.
up the bus? 'Cause I
No,
come
it's just
from,
like you're literally just trying to make noise, right? Like it's just like, wouldn't you
rattle
say?
them.
Yeah.
Well, they're not loud, right?
Everyone's got key fobs now.
You need
like
the-
you got the
the
new age. You're just shaking your
vuvuzelas,
key
right?
fob. There's no noise.
Shaking your cell phone because it starts your car. Yeah, well, you know, at Colby Hockey Country, it was like you take your keys out and be like, warm up the bus when you were.
I was thinking about Syracuse football, by the way. Like, I think a lot of traditions, too, it matters how good the school is at football. That, like, if on a big 3rd down you're shaking your keys and you get the sack and it's a scoop and score, everyone's losing their mind. But at Syracuse, you're probably shaking it. There's a touchdown. You're like, damn, all right. And then you sit back down. And, like, after you do that enough, you're probably like, this is stupid.
Well,
what are we doing?
But that's what's so endearing about college sports is that probably has worked maybe once, if ever, never, right?
Yeah.
And everyone's like, this is the time we're gonna get the keys out. It's a key thing. It's
Yeah.
gonna work, and then it doesn't work, and you just like, and that's sort of the cyclical culture of a place, you know.
There's a guy who's like 44 years old that went to Duke that was a Cameron Crazy who made a North Carolina player miss a free throw because he was like, and then the guy missed, and he's still telling that story at bars. He's like, yeah, you know, back in the 90s, I went to a game and went, because you think it works. And then, like, you're like, yeah, that's where the kids got the idea. It was me.
Right.
Just moving your hands real fast.
It was before
Throws them off.
YouTube. They had it on VHS, and they played it at their homes. All right, Big 12. What is the Big 12?
The Big 12
Stereotype.
is, well, I mean, right now, the Big 12 is just like a sinking ship, basically.
The
But
Titanic?
The Big 12 is stereotypically Big 12 football. There's no defense whatsoever. So, like, that's kind of fun to watch. It's a shootout.
I'm
yeah.
anti-defense.
Yeah, anti-defense.
It's like in Space Jam when Bill Murray says, Mike,
Yeah.
I don't play defense.
Yes. That's the Big 12. There you go.
Big 12.
Big 12 is Bill Murray
Big
in
12
Space
is
Jam.
Bill Murray in Space Jam.
And just like how Bill Murray did nothing in the game against the Aliens, the Big 12 does nothing in the college football playoffs. It's the only power conference that
oh,
hasn't
come
won a
on.
game.
He provided a whole lot of heart, Mark,
All right.
Bill.
The Big 12 is the only conference that hasn't won a game. Did you know that?
No.
And, the only the power conference in the playoff.
Well, good
0
for
and
them.
4.
Things are looking up.
Yeah. So if they haven't, they're the only one that. So I would say the stereotype is like, but weirdly, like the Big 12 produces a lot of awesome players.
So there's
You
like
know?
always one star.
Yeah,
from
there's
the
always
conference,
stars of
But
yeah.
the team isn't great.
The teams are like okay, you know, like they're good. Like Oklahoma will probably make the playoff this year, I imagine, but you know,
But
we all know what happens next. But Spencer Rattler, the quarterback of Oklahoma, might win the Heisman. That's a great example. Kyler Murray, Baker
Baker.
Mayfield, Sam Bradford, Jason White. I think he won a
Sam
national title though.
Yeah.
But yeah, that Robert Griffin played in he won a Heisman. He played in the Big 12. They
I
had a
once did
bunch
a
of
story on a bunch of Washington fans who sent him wedding presents.
Washington fans.
Yeah, when he was on the.
Oh, the
in-
football
that-
team.
yeah, the
Not
football
I
team.
was thinking of the Huskies.
No, sorry,
Yeah, yeah.
the Washington football team when he was their quarterback. A bunch of fans sent him wedding presents, and then he left Washington, and they all kind of wanted their money back. It was wild.
Can you do that? Can you?
No, you can't like take back a present. But they were like, I'm really pissed that I got him a crock pot or something because he
Yeah.
had like a public wedding registry.
What
and I was-
happens at a wedding that there's a runaway bride? What happens to the table of gifts?
I think the groom gets to keep.
Think the groom just gets to keep
Right?
all the gifts?
Yeah.
That's a that's an idea. That's a zany comedy. Is like organize
Hasn't
a fake
it-
wedding. To then I don't know.
To get a bunch of Williams Sonoma stuff.
Yeah, we'll talk off air. We'll figure this out.
Okay.
What's up? What do we got?
Yeah, going back to the Big Ten, I go to school at Illinois, and I don't think our football team really has any traditions. So, what would you give us
What
for a tradition?
I think the Big Ten does like to spell. We just like we.
You're
like
just
to,
like so proud that you know
I
how
think
to
Iowa,
read that you're
yeah,
like,
yeah,
check this shit out.
Yeah. Illinois also named their basketball. I know this because I grew up in Indiana. Their football stadium is named Memorial Stadium, which is what Indiana's football stadium is named. And their
Okay.
basketball arena is named Assembly Hall, which is what Indiana's. Not anymore. They changed it because they.
So are you
what's it called
mad
now?
at Illinois?
State Farm Center. Well, I'm saying like they and then they spell like Ohio State. I'm wondering,
Do
is
they just
Illinois
wanna
just
be-
like, do they just take like other traditions? Is that
Maybe.
their? Illinois used to be good at football, like in the 50s. That's what's always fascinated me too about college football is that like every single college seemed to have been good at once upon a time.
Yeah, but those were the days when you could play football with like a burlap sack.
Yeah.
A bunch of like cans of soup in a burlap sack and
Just
like throw it down
tie
the
it on,
field, and
that's
they're
the-
like touchdown. Yeah.
I think it's also there wasn't like a national football didn't have like a national presence, so you played like this is so wrong, but who cares? You played like 5 games against like the schools
Oh, yeah?
that are all like 50 miles away, and then you go 5-0, and you're like, we were a dynasty, you know.
The thing about our show is that we say things and then we say this is probably completely wrong, and you can't get mad at us when you look it up later and it's wrong because we said it was.
Charlotte, that's sports media. You just say,
Yes,
if you say it,
that's
if you're
just-
sure enough as you say it, who cares?
That's
What's up? What do we got?
Hello. I just wanted to go back to the whole alien football coach who would we
Right.
choose to represent thing. I would say we
Classic.
should send Clay Helton and we can just give him to the aliens
Just-
because that's the only way we're going to get him to leave USC.
Oh, USC.
And yes,
Clay
I
to the
did go
aliens.
there.
All right, Bev. We love it.
Also, yeah, we have a couple of traditions at USC. One of them is even worse than Ohio's. So instead of spelling out 4 letters, we spell out Southern California. It's called the SoCal spell out. It's the whole thing. I'm not going
Wait,
to do
you
it.
literally?
Yeah, no.
SOUTH.
I couldn't do that.
SOUTHERNA.
SOUTHER.
I can't. Yeah.
Yeah, it's,
C-A-L-I.
yeah,
Fornia.
yeah,
That's a thing?
yeah. I wish I was lying. I really do.
UCLA spells too, right? I think that might just be a college thing.
I mean, I just think that, NFL teams, they're like, whatever, our fans probably don't know how to read, but college, they're like, we got to prove that they're learning something.
Yeah, that's what it is.
So
Yeah.
they're like, spell the school and you
USC,
can come on in.
There's a V thing too.
Yeah,
right?
there's
What is
like
that?
the V for victory. It's a fight on, because fight on. I don't know. It's motivation.
V
It's like
for
football is
victory.
war.
The great explanation. A V for victory because it's like fight on, because we want to fight on.
Fight on.
So
I tried.
what?
I didn't invent it.
that's great.
It predates my existence.
Mm.
But also, we have a tradition where our drum major stabs the field. So I would love to hear.
Stabs the field?
Yeah, with a sword, because he's like a Trojan, whatever. Yeah, I would love to hear your take on that.
Literally stabs
Yeah,
the
like-
field?
Takes a big sword and
Yeah.
that's insane.
His
Your
name
thoughts,
is
Charlotte.
Tommy Trojan.
Are they like...
We should do a thing when we go on the road where we ask the audience to come wherever school we're going to. We ask them to like we do like 2 truths and a lie or whatever, where they say traditions and you have to pick out. I mean, I probably won't know half of them either. I didn't. I watched a lot of USC football. I didn't
We
know
also
they spell Southern
kick the
California.
flagpoles on the way to the Coliseum.
Okay, well...
I don't know why.
As someone who I broke my pinky toe accidentally kicking a bed, like that doesn't seem smart to purposely kick a flagpole. But these are all we'll take these all
Yeah.
into consideration. Bev, thank you so much. Mark, should we
What else?
should
Yeah.
we just go into our version of a season preview, and then we'll let you just talk to each other.
Let everybody,
and enjoy more.
let everybody go home and watch USA win a gold medal in basketball, or Ted Lasso, or whatever the hell you want to do on a Friday night. I don't know.
Yeah, right. But first, last thing we're going to do is our version of a season preview.
Yep.
Which is just things that we are looking forward to.
Yep.
Because you can
All right,
only
let me
say
get my
that
list.
like Ohio State and Alabama and Clemson are going to be good so many times before you run out
Yep.
of other things to say.
Georgia's going to be good this year. Should we just say who's going to be good?
Yeah. Okay.
Just be
Georgia's
like,
going to be good.
Here's a preview.
Yeah.
Georgia, pretty good.
Not bad.
Oklahoma, they'll be pretty good.
So pretty good.
Just start naming schools.
Just
That's all it is.
Bama?
What are you looking forward to, Charlotte?
I'm looking forward to how many times Trevor Lawrence's name is said during Clemson games.
Oh, yeah.
Every broadcast, like every other word is going to be Trevor Lawrence, even though he doesn't play there anymore.
But the Clemson, what's the dude's name? DJ, does anybody know? DJ, what's his last name? Yeah, Hugo Lele.
Nice, yeah.
He's got a cannon. That guy's going to be awesome. So
Yeah,
you're
but
going to
they're
be
still
right.
gonna
So
talk
there's-
about Trevor.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he's going to be
Right.
awesome. They're going to be like, but is he as good as Trevor Lawrence?
Like if you get a guy like Trevor, you get content out of that for like 10 years.
Yeah.
If his hair is that good, they're not letting him go that easy. And maybe his arm, but
I'm looking forward to the obvious, just full stadiums in general.
Mm.
The football, as it turns out, sports without fans do kind of suck.
yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
and it's been horrible trying to act like they don't. Like doing this job where we're like, you know.
This job has
Like,
been awful.
No
for
sport. No, this is still cool. This is still, you know.
Yeah,
like,
no, I mean, if you just close your eyes and
Yeah.
pump in sound from crowds of the past, you can really.
It's totally the
then-
same thing.
Yeah.
It's totally the same thing that the NBA bubble had, like celebrities on the screen, like trying to figure out how to use Zoom. You're like, yeah, it's like I'm at Staples Center watching
You know,
the Lakers play. It's
NBA.
all the
This is a
same.
real quick tangent, which is not something we ever do on the show. But my favorite one in the bubble was when they had like the Microsoft Teams. It was sponsored, and so they had like people in little seats, and it was supposed to be their shoulders and like their head, and sort of fit some semblance of like what a body in a chair would look like. And Shaq, it was just his head, like it was just like only Shaq, like Shaq's head only, and then everyone else's normal sized body. And I will never forget that. I think I laughed for like 30 minutes deep in the pandemic. No, that's a good one. I mean,
Yeah.
that's like an earnest,
Yeah, I know.
sweet, lovely
I know.
one.
I know.
All right. Well, I'm interested in what the coolest and lamest name, image, likeness merch will be, because now that
great
players
point.
can make money off of themselves, I want to see like someone's gonna come up with just like the stupidest line of keychains or something.
Someone's gonna get paid to get a tattoo of a brand, of
No.
like Jim Bob's lawnmower parts or something, and then like the quarterback
Lucky's
at like
Wing House.
the quarterback at East Tennessee has got like Jim Bob's auto parts on his left bicep. And he
How
was-
much would you? Okay, what is the lowest? What is the minimum someone could pay you to get a Jim Bob's lawnmower parts
I
tattoo?
don't know. That one would be kind of funny. Like that plays. I think that
I know.
plays. Like,
That-
like you
but,
get
like,
that enough.
Would
yeah.
you do that for free?
No, but I mean, also I got to put myself in the mind of like a 20-year-old.
Yeah, you were a college athlete, Mark.
Thank
what
you,
would
Charlotte.
you?
Thank you. It's been an hour. We're like almost an hour in, and you're just now
As
reminding
someone who
everybody.
played Division I sports,
I'm putting myself in the mind of a 20-year-old. I would probably do it for $1,000.
$1,000.
Probably $1,000. Yeah. Because $1,000 to a 20-year-old when you're in college, that's like $1 million.
Okay.
Like yeah. It's not, as you find out very quickly when you're like, I'm rich, and then you go spend it. Like,
Right.
I'm not rich. Never mind.
And now I have this tattoo. So I'm looking forward to that.
That's great. That's
Yeah.
a good one. I'm looking forward to who's going to win the September Heisman. That happens every year in college football, that one guy has like 3 good games out of the gate, and they're like, give him the Heisman already. And then everyone's like, that's not how it works. And we're like, shut up. We don't care that that's how it works. Give him the Heisman. Has anyone in the history, this is a question for people.
Yeah.
Because I genuinely don't know this. And has anyone ever been like the best player in September and also won the Heisman? Has a September Heisman guy ever actually won the Heisman?
You got any stats guys?
Stats guys, look that up.
Stats
Google
gals
it. Give
out
me
there?
give me
Was anyone good
I'm trying to think of.
sustainably?
I'm trying to think of who that would be. Anyway, I'm excited for that.
Sustainably good?
Okay, there you go. He didn't win the Heisman, Buck. He didn't win the Heisman. It was it never happened. There's an asterisk at the trophy case.
I am excited for big men touchdowns.
Big man touchdowns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
Just like
just
big dudes getting
yeah.
touchdowns.
I'm excited for commentators reminding us that there needs to be conclusive video evidence to overturn the call on the field. Like we've had, this is year 15, I think, with video replay.
Yeah.
And every single time we get a replay, as they're showing the replay, they're like, now remember, folks at home, remember, we have to see conclusive. It has to be conclusive. And we're like, yes, we've all been watching
You're like,
football
"That's
for
what-
15 years.
that's
We
what
understand
replay
it.
means."
Every single commentating team, every single network, they will beat it into your brain during a replay. But is it conclusive? You're like, Charlotte, what do you think on that one? You're like, it looks like his knee's down. It's like, okay, but is it conclusive?
We should do a segment called "Is it conclusive?"
Yeah.
I don't know what it would be about. You
Doesn't
would just
matter.
say something that could or could not be conclusive, and we have to rule it out. Write in. Send us your thoughts. Everyone's like, oh my god. I am excited to see what Nick Saban does next off the field. I was shocked when he was in an Aflac commercial. I thought that was very off-brand. I did not see insurance salesman coming. And so now that he has done that, I feel like the doors have been blown wide open, and like we could get some weird Nick Saban commercials. Like he could start shilling for Bob's Lawns Auto Parts.
Bob's Lawns Auto Parts.
Whatever joke he made
yeah.
before. Like he could. I want to see him. I want to see Nick Saban in like a K Jewelers ad. That would be so funny, and I think it's a possibility.
What's the funniest Nick Saban company that he's doing?
Like Nike.
He just goes the opposite of like instead of doing the logo, he's just
Right,
like,
he's just like
I'm Nick Saban here for iPhones.
Like, he's made it
I
clear.
love greatness. So do you. Buy the thing that you're already buying. See ya.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm excited for the first incident involving a live mascot. Those are always fun. We're experiencing it ourselves as the live mascot of the show, Moses. Has been barking
Moses,
all,
he's being so good.
When remember the Texas Longhorn in the Sugar Bowl a couple
the
years
Bevo.
ago? Yeah, like when
And
after
they had him
the
by
Bulldog,
the horns, and he was just like, what was it, a bulldog?
Yeah, it was the Georgia Bulldog. They were playing in the Sugar Bowl, and the Bulldog comes over and they're like, "Let's do a meet and greet with the animals." Again, another college football thing that's like, this makes total sense. And they wheel the Bulldog over, and he's in a cage, like a literal cage. They're like, "All right, little buddy, go say hi to the big ass animal with horns." And he's like, "What?" And it's a bulldog,
Right, the
so he's just kind
Bulldog's
of.
like,
And then the Longhorn went nuts, and live animals are hilarious. The idea that Colorado has like the buffalo that they run around.
I didn't know that.
Insane.
I didn't
Absolutely
know they had a
insane.
buffalo. They had a buffalo?
They still do, I think. Do they still have it?
Ralph you run.
It's dangerous.
Yeah, that seems it's like the running of the bulls, but less regulated, which is horrifying. I'm also excited for something for like just mascot stuff in general, like the mascot going kind of rogue. I went to a Chiefs game once where this is not college football, but it still is along the lines of what I'm trying to get at. Is that who's the Chiefs mascot?
I don't know.
He's like he's like a fox or a dog or something.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's a weird looking
They
thing.
have like a fox mascot?
Yeah,
The
and
Kansas City Chiefs?
yeah.
What?
And a wolf? Maybe it's a wolf. I think it's a wolf. He hopped on a four-wheeler and started doing donuts on the field before the game. And I was like, sports
fox
rule.
jumped on a
Yes, and he had
motorcycle.
a flag. No. It was like a four-wheeler. And he had a flag flying out the back, and he just started like ripping around the field. And I was in the press box, and I was like, is anyone else seeing this? And does anyone else register that this is insane? And everyone's just like, oh, there goes the mascot. And I was like, we have all been brainwashed. Like sports make you think that normal is completely just
Right. We need more mascot fights.
Yeah.
I think that too. I think we need more. There isn't. God, it's probably been like 10 years now. Ohio University, the Bobcats were playing in Columbus, and the guy who was in the Ohio Bobcat suit, as Brutus Buckeye, was just going around like probably spelling Ohio, doing that. There's a video of the Ohio Bobcat just basically tackling him and just starts punching him.
Oh my god!
And it was not choreographed at all. Like it wasn't like the two guys talked and were like, "This would be hilarious. This will go viral." It was just the guy that the guy in the Bobcat costume was just like YOLO and just like took off and just started hammering Brutus, and it was pretty legendary. Even an Ohio State fan like me was like, "This is legendary.
You're like,
this is
great.
awesome. We need more of this."
I
want to
know. I want a retrospective on what happened inside that guy's head, inside the mascot. Like, how did he snap?
Yeah.
How did the Bobcat snap?
I don't
we should
think
track
he,
him down.
I don't think he snapped. I think he had his head off. He was like probably behind a dumpster and had like his head off and
Yeah.
like threw something in his mouth. Was like go time and throws it on and then just took off. I see it happening more like that. I'm also excited for strength coaches to headbutt their own players as the players are wearing helmets and then give themselves concussions and pretend like they're okay. I'm excited for that. That's fun.
I think we have
like
to-
grab them by the face mask, and they're like, and then you see them. You know, I'm excited for that. So.
We have to end on that note because I can't think of anything. I can't.
Oh,
top
we'll end on this
strength
one. I'm
coaches.
excited to try to find one single bar in Los Angeles, California that like shows college football or sports really at all.
I mean,
Because that is
we are the sports.
yeah,
We're at a bar.
we're
We're the sports.
That's it. I'm excited for that to just drive around, get in my car, and be like, "You guys showing the game?" They're like, "Game? What is games? Games?"
The game show?
Yeah, yeah.
Showbiz?
That's it. So, is that it, Charlotte?
I think that's it, unless anyone has any last pressing questions for us. But Sean. Yeah.
Since it took so long to bring up Mark Titus's athletic prowess, I wanted to know, and we were talking about traditions and all that, who has more clout on the Ohio State campus? The nerd who dots the I or the walk-on who just picks up trillions?
Definitely the guy who dots the I.
Got it.
Definitely the guy. I'm not even kidding. It's not a if we're gonna go to an Ohio State
Yeah.
game, we're gonna make it happen.
Yeah.
When the marching band comes on the field, the people you've been to one, you've seen it. Like the
But
people go nuts.
explain it to me like I'm 5.
Well, I mean, like you really feel like you're like witnessing a cult because you're like, why are you cheering for? Like it's 45 minutes till kickoff or whatever.
Yeah.
And the band's coming on the field.
Right.
And everyone's like Carl's talking to Dale, and they're like, yeah. So anyway, shut up, and then they all stand up and start clapping along.
And it's because
like,
the.
yeah, it's because the band's coming on the field, and it's very straight. And
So dotting the I, is that the guy? Does the person just go stand there and he's the dot?
yeah, they
What does
script it.
dotting the I technically mean?
They do cursive, and then you get to be the one that dots the I, and it's a whole.
Does everyone know who that person is?
Yeah, I don't know, Sean. Damn it. I don't know, Sean.
I just.
I don't know. We appreciate you guys coming out. We understand that this was stupid in a lot of
No,
ways.
it was great.
We are.
Thank you so much. We couldn't do it without
Test
you.
run. I think that's it. We have nothing else. Go enjoy your evening.
Bye, guys. Thank you.